Hello and welcome to Gazette discussion for 30th June 2021. My name is Harsh Singh and today we will discuss many interesting articles through this discussion. The first discussion will be on the featured news, which is on a separate video. There will be two videos, one for featured news and the other video will be for the rest of the discussion. So watch both the videos. The first article for today, featured news, is on BharatNet project. Now this project is the largest project to integrate the rural India with digital connectivity. This is the largest project in the world of its own kind. So we will discuss the various facets for it, the vision for it, how it is being implemented, what are the impediments in the whole process. All right. The second article is about this day in history, which is on International Asteroid Day. Why is this particular day celebrated at International Asteroid Day? And something about B612 Foundation, something related to it. News snapshots. Two important news updates that we have for you are: one, a government scheme for formalization of the food processing industry, very important industry in agriculture, allied sector. And the second one is the two government initiatives which have been launched, one for contract enforcement and the second one is Agri-Krishi app. Now this is an important app, right? Now you can use all of these three. The first one is BharatNet project, the second is this particular app and contract enforcement, and the third is the new scheme in your answer writing as well. Now terms and concepts that we have for you today are: one, vaccine indemnity. What is vaccine indemnity and why are they applying for this? Some organizations like Pfizer. Baihetan Dam, where is it located and what is its significance? It is located in China. Agni-P, what is Agni-P? What is it about? What is the latest about it? And Barnadi Wildlife Sanctuary, why is it in news? The two editorials that we have for today are: one, Reforms and Indian Capitalism, and the second one is on Indian policy on the ports, especially the major ports. A good article. The second one is a very good read. Case study. The case study for the day is about rejuvenation of an important river in the south, the Kaveri River. So let's begin the discussion. This day in history has been dedicated to the asteroids. The reason for this dedication is because this is the day, 30th June is the day on which the largest recorded asteroid impact happened on the earth. This happened in the year 1908 when a huge asteroid struck somewhere in Russian Siberia, right? So what are asteroids? Asteroids are those bodies which keep revolving around the sun. These are small rocky objects, right? They are not circular in shape and they have various issues because of which they are not considered planets, right? Okay, so these are asteroids and they are revolving around the earth. The day is marked, especially this 30th June is marked as Asteroids Day because this is the day to create awareness of readiness, preparedness of earth to deal with such kind of sudden attacks, right, by asteroids, right? This is International Asteroids Day. And this is where I would like to quickly mention there are two asteroid belts, right? So one belt is called as the asteroid belt, which is between Mars and Jupiter. This is what many of us are aware of. This asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, a lot of asteroids, millions and millions of asteroids are also revolving around the sun. And there is another belt of asteroids which is around Pluto, right? So the dwarf planet Pluto, this belt of asteroids is called as Kuiper belt. Kuiper belt. So please note these two belts and where they exist, right? Important material for geography and astronomy. This could be asked in the exam. And this is the reason, the existence of this asteroid belt is the reason the whole orbit of Pluto is not complete. The orbit is there, but it is interrupted by the presence of this asteroid, and therefore the Pluto is not a planet, it is a dwarf planet because its orbit is not completely clear. So Kuiper belt beyond Pluto, and then we have asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Now news snapshot. The first snapshot is on an important scheme to formalize the food processing industry, right? Now we have, India has as many as 6-7 crores of MSMEs, many small organizations, right? Even a person creating papad, right, is an organization in themselves if they're selling it. A person who is in pickle making, right, if they're making pickle at home, achar at home, this is also an industry. So this is a micro industry of one person. An industry could be of 2 persons, home based cottage industry, right? Now government is trying to push this formalization of industry, especially food sector. You know why it is being done? Because a lot of people have gotten affected of corona, right? Now the whole supply chain has gotten affected in a way that even if they produce their product, nobody is there to purchase it. There is demand in the market, the urban and rural areas, there is demand, but the supply chain is affected, transport is affected, right? If some value addition has to be done, that has been affected, the marketing has been affected. So since various segments have been affected and government does not even know the proportion in which it has affected the people, especially the smaller population, the MSMEs, the micro, small and medium industries, so government wants to formalize it, right? Putting in the formal structure. How will it help? See, if the government is aware which are the people who are most affected, it will deliver its services in a targeted manner to them first. So this is the process in which government is trying to formalize it, right? A very beautiful initiative by government. The idea here is to register all these food processing entities. So registration, and then after that technological upgradation, and then banking linkages, giving them subsidy if required. How subsidy? What are the criteria for giving subsidy? We will just discuss that. And then support, giving them support through farm producer organizations, FPOs. Now what is FPO? Individual farmer is not as strong as a collection of farmers, right? Just like we had individual people who were involved in milk production, and then came organization like Amul, right? Then came organization like Mother Dairy. So cooperatives, this is farm producer organizations are farmer cooperatives working together, right? So, and then they have common facilities, and then branding and marketing. Now these are the segments which, if formalized, will give multiple returns to people indulged in food processing sector, right? Not only having the mega food parks, but also helping them, right? See, declaration of mega food parks can help a huge industry, a cluster of industries working in the area. But what about helping those who are supplying these industries? So this is the formalization process of these people working in the sector. So this is what this news is about, this particular scheme. So remember this scheme, Prime Minister formalization of the enterprises, the food producing enterprises, right? This is what it is. In this, an important component is one district, one product, right? So every state is required to designate one product for a particular district, right? And I will show you the examples. And in this, every district has to have one specialized product for its marketing and selling. And especially tribal districts, scheduled caste, and aspirational districts. We discussed aspirational districts a few days ago, right, in our featured news. So these districts have specially been earmarked that one product has to be provided. Now let me give you some examples of these products. Consider the state UP. I have taken it right from the website of the government. So consider the state UP. Now Balia district in eastern UP is popular for bindi. So bindi is the product they will popularize from this district. Similarly, Basti is known for woodwork. So Basti district will be utilized for marketing, selling and promoting this product. The people working here will be specializing in the promotion of woodcraft. Similarly, we have Bhadoi. It is very much popular for carpet manufacture, carpet, right? Kaleen. Similarly, we have Bulandshahr for ceramic product, ceramic. You know, the one with which we drink our tea, ceramic products. Textile products, right? For Barabanki located very close to Lucknow, and Bijnor for woodcraft again, right? So these are the ways the government has tried to help the one district, one product initiative, right? So chicken curry is there. We have Kala Namak rice, right? So many products which are GI tagged, right? Which have been tagged by the government as popular products in the region, they will be utilized for selling it. So this is an important scheme, and therefore there is a requirement for convergence of specific industries. Which industries, which ministries? For example, rural ministry, tribal affairs ministry, urban ministry. So if there is convergence, there will be manufacture, there will be selling, and there will be involvement of the people, right? For example, aspirational districts, tribal districts. So that is why these ministries have had a convergence here, right? So training has to be given to the role players, then subsidy has to be given. There is a scheme for subsidy which says subsidy will be given on the basis of which sector needs more promotion, right? So the benefit to farmers is being received or not, right? Which are the critical sectors? is there private investment in those places or not, right? What is the gap? What is the viability gap? That means how much is the gap between what needs to be done and what is being done. If the gap is more, then government will try funding that more, right? So this is what this article is about. So this is an important article for development of the MSMEs and especially agricultural dependent MSMEs. Two government initiatives, again important one, because it is a government initiative. Government is trying to help certain sectors. So first one is about contract enforcement and the second one is about a Krishi app, again agriculture related. So we must know what these two are. Now a lot of contracts are enforced between two parties, right? And this is a part of the best practices followed in business, right? So whenever business is organized, having good contracts and enforcement of contract is an important term, right? For example, if I have had a contract of purchasing certain entities, suppose I am a builder and I want to purchase some entities, right? For example, raw material for my building product from another organization, and they are not providing in me those entities in a certain time, so they have violated the contract. And in this case, I can actually go to the court. I can go to the court and have some compensation for this loss that I have incurred. Now, this is where the government comes into play. The government means the state. The state has various organs. One is government, the other one is judiciary. So this contract enforcement is about a portal which will inform the various contracting parties. What are the rules under which contract have to be enforced? What is the judicial process for it? Is there arbitration happening or not? Now, what is arbitration? Arbitration is the process of conversations between the parties informally, not going to the court and trying to extend the whole judicial process. They will talk, okay, let us, if you have had loss of 1 crore rupees, can we try and compensating you 50 lakhs for it? Are you okay with that? So if they're okay, this is called as arbitration. This is not the legal process. This is the quasi conversation, quasi process in which it is not even a quasi judicial process. So this is what this first initiative is about, right? So it talks about mediation and arbitration centers with the government before moving to the courts, right? Enforcing contracts indicator, right? If contract have to be enforced or not in particular spaces. So doing business report is an important report of the World Bank, right? And in this, one of the important parameters is enforcing contracts, and this is what will help India have a better business development in the country, right? So this is under Department of Justice. There are 2-3 things which are important for this. One is the enforcement, right? The timeline for enforcement of any dispute, right? So any dispute happens, the timeline in which it is solved is very important. The cost has to be minimized in the whole process, and the best practices to be followed in it. So these are the 3 important components which have to be noted, right? The article has been, the website in which the portal which has been used here has been made in a way that all there are videos in it which explain which are the provisions of government. There are articles and PDFs which are explaining the whole process in which government is helping enforcing the whole contract, right? And speeding up the whole process, right? They have also provided dedicated staff, dedicated infrastructure, dedicated institutions for helping the whole process. Okay, the second part of this article is about the Atmanirbhar Krishi app. So first of all, what is Atmanirbhar? This is the initiative of the government in which government wants all the Indian organizations to be self-dependent. Now, after COVID, we have understood that there has been a lot of dependence on the foreign nations as well. So to help the various sectors of the country, the Atmanirbharta has to increase. That means we have to rely on our own products. In fact, we have to start exporting the products from the country. So Atmanirbhar Krishi app. This time we will have a Krishi app. This is what the news is about. Now, this initiative is a part of the Kisan Mitra initiative. What is to be done here? Now, any farmer having a smartphone with them, they will be able to have a lot of data, right? Kisan Mitra, right? The friend of the farmer. So whenever they go to an agricultural field, right, the machine, that means the connectivity between satellite and their phone will really tell them what is the soil type here, how much water is to be dispensed, and what kind of crop should ideally grow at this place, right? So what is the weather forecast of this particular place at particular month? So the app itself will provide them a lot of information for them to do their business, for them to prosper their agriculture. So this is what this app is about. The app is also placed in many colloquial and regional languages for them to help. The app has been designed in a way that minimal bandwidth will be required, less internet bandwidth will be required for them to operate. And whenever they go to a place, the app will automatically pick up the location and tell them information if they need, right? They can also put in the pin code of the particular area and they will get the information. So the kind of information that we have is weather-based, land-based, crop-based, the soil type, right? The water requirement, the surface water requirement, and how much is available. So it is a very good app for farmers and their business activity in farms, right? Image of the day. This image is of Syrinx Aruanus. What is this? This is a huge sea snail which can weigh as much as 18 kilos, and it grows 70 centimeters. 70 centimeters is almost the length of my arm. So this is the length of a sea snail. Now, because it is long, it has its own uniqueness, and therefore it is also required in the market, right? How is it required? A lot of popular ornaments are made out of it, right? And therefore it is vulnerable to extinction. It is found in tropical areas as well, a lot of areas. Remember this name, and it was recently discovered in Andhra Pradesh as well. Terms and concept. The first term and concept for today is vaccine indemnity. It is in news because two companies, vaccine manufacturers, Pfizer and Moderna, have applied for indemnity in India. What is indemnity? Now, suppose if company X has manufactured vaccine and it has sold it in India, and the user Y has had side effect, they have died because of it. So company is liable to pay them something, right, because of their loss. And if the company has got indemnity, it will not be liable to pay anything. There will be no compensation. The company will not be charged under any action. So indemnity is complete freedom from the impacts of that particular action. Now, vaccine indemnity means if vaccine has been delivered in India and put and given to people, and if the vaccine by Pfizer and Moderna have some side effects, they will not be penalized. There will be no legal action against them. These two companies, Pfizer has got this vaccine indemnity in all the countries. It is not exceptional to India that it is applying here, right? However, there are some clauses. India will study them and India will use them if required, right? But the best part is that Pfizer has got stock. The news says that they have got a stock of 5 crore vaccination kits. So therefore, India is very interested to have a contract with them, right? So this is the news, and it has said that it will deal only with the central government, and it does not want it wants indemnity for vaccine in India. So this is the news. The second one is Baihetan Dam. Now this dam is located in China. Why is it in news? It is one of the largest dams to be constructed in the world, right? One of the important dams in China is also the Three Gorges Dam, right, which is on the Yangtze River, and this dam is being constructed at Jishna River, which is the tributary of the Yangtze River. I would like to see, we know the map of India, we know the map of Sri Lanka, but I would like to just show you how China looks like. Now this is China, right? This is the shape of China, and this is the coastal area. Most of Chinese population is residing in the coastal area. That's what is happening world around. And we have Beijing here, an important city, Shanghai here. These are two important cities, and this is the side where Hong Kong and Macau are located. Now this is the interior of China. This is Yangtze River, and this is the Yellow River, right? And this is where this particular river is flowing, and we have a dam here, right? So this is one of the largest dam in the world of its kind, one of the largest, and it will have as many as 16 individual projects of 1000 megawatt each, 1000 megawatt. So 16,000 megawatt through the production of electricity, hydroelectricity. This is an attempt by China to increase its green energy and decrease its dependence on fossil fuels, right? So important for China and important for India to learn about these projects. Okay. The next article is about Agni-P, Agni Prime. What is Agni Prime? Agni Prime is one of the versions of Agni missile produced under Integrated Guided Missile Development Program of India, right? So this is one of the variants of Agni, which is an important variant. Why is it important? Because it is a canistered missile. What is a canistered missile? A missile has got 2-3 parts in it, right? One of them is the warhead, The other one is about the whole body of the missile, and then we have the rocket propulsion system as well, right? Its wings and rocket propulsion. Now, if this whole body is kept inside a particular canister, a vessel, right, it is easy for the body, the whole missile, to relocate from one place to another, right? So the storage of the missile, the mobility of the missile becomes easier, and this is what is called as canistered missile. And Agni-P is a canistered missile, right? Its range is, again, it is 1000 to 2000 kilometers, right? So this is Agni-P for you. It has got some features, some state-of-the-art features which are better than previous versions, right? It has been tested by India. Now, quickly, let us look at some of the missiles, important missiles that we have in the country, right? Under integrated missile development program, we have had Prithvi, Agni, Nag, Trishul, and Akash, right? Now, Prithvi is a short range ballistic missile. This is a long range ballistic missile, that is Agni. So range is 1000 to 5000, as much as 5000, right? India is also developing intercontinental ballistic missiles. That means from India, if we target Beijing, which is 7,000-8,000 kilometers away, that should be the agenda. Prithvi is a short distance, right? And therefore Prithvi is also being used as air defense, right? So this is a short distance, maybe 200 to 500 kilometers. This could be the ideal range for Prithvi. Agni is a long distance, intercontinental. And then we have Nag. Nag is anti-tank missile. So tank is placed, this is how it will attack a tank, right? Trishul and Akash are surface to air missiles, right? So Trishul is short distance, Akash is mid distance, right? This is what India has developed under a specific program called as Integrated Guided Missile Development Program, guided missiles, right? Now, few important updates regarding this are, India is also a nuclear triad. What is a nuclear triad? Nuclear triad is a country which has got capability to deliver nuclear weapons through air, water and land, all means. And which are the missiles used for this? These are the missiles. So Prithvi is used in multiple occasions, right? For water delivery, for sub-water delivery, for example, delivering a missile through water, a version of Prithvi is also used. For example, INS Arihant, right, has got a capability to deliver K-15 missiles. This is a nuclear warhead, right? So there are two kinds of ships. One is nuclear powered, and then the second one is nuclear attack. So we are talking of nuclear attack here, not nuclear powered, right? Diesel powered and nuclear powered are two different things. So if you are discussing these concepts, do remember them, because to gain understanding of it, either you will need a lot of reading or you will need access to videos like mine, right, where you will get understanding of these various concepts. Okay, now, so India has got this aerial capability where India wants to deliver these attack weapons. See, the warhead, if it is conventional, that means normal bombs, and nuclear, that means nuclear bomb will be placed here, right? So some of the missiles will have this nuclear warhead also. So Prithvi cannot be placed. Prithvi is such a big missile. Agni is such a long missile. It cannot be put on a fighter plane, and therefore we will be putting BrahMos here. The missile warhead on BrahMos will be nuclear and will be utilized in the air delivery. But for water and land, Prithvi is very much active. So these are the common things that are about the nuclear triad. India has said that India will not use the missile first. India's nuclear policy is not to use nuclear missiles first, but with a clause. If India gets this nuclear threat, and if India is attacked by nuclear missiles, India will ensure a massive retaliation, and that is what is nuclear readiness in the terms of nuclear triad, right? So quick update about it. Keep noting down whatever you think is important. Some things are concept based, some things are fact based. Agni-P is not as important apart from knowing that it is canistered missile. However, the terms that we discussed, they are important. Now, Barnadi Wildlife Sanctuary, not a very important sanctuary, it is small. Now, why it is in news is because that few tigers were found to inhabit in this Barnadi Wildlife Sanctuary. Where is it located? That is important, right? Barnadi River, there is a Barnadi River which is at the lower Assam, right? Assam is divided into three parts: the upper Assam, middle Assam and lower Assam part. So this is in the lower Assam part, and this place borders Bhutan, and that is why this becomes important. Ideally, this area has been meant for pygmy hawk conservation and hispid hare, right? And therefore, we must look at the map once, quickly at the map of this locality. Now, this is Assam. You don't need to read the parts. All you need to do is look at the shape of this particular state, right? So shape of the state is something like this, bordered by the other seven sisters. And this is where Bhutan is located, Bhutan here. And now we have the Barnadi Wildlife Sanctuary at this junction. Why is it important? Is because there is no border for these animals to travel, right? They can travel across. People need passport, but in jungle areas, in undulated terrains, they can freely travel from one place to another. And spotting of animal is very important, because tiger spotting can lead to tiger poaching also, and therefore government needs to preserve such kind of animals, because they are at the peak of the animal food chain. And therefore India needs to coordinate with countries like Bhutan, countries like Nepal here, and then there has to be interstate coordination also. So states like Assam have to coordinate with West Bengal as well on these fronts. All right, 2 editorials for today. The first editorial for today we will discuss after the second editorial. Second one is more important. We need a national policy on ports. Now this editorial is a very important editorial in terms that it talks about the major ports of the country, right? So first of all, let us see the major ports that are there in our nation. We have got 13 major ports, and these 13 major ports contribute to most of the trading that happens, right? Now we already know that India's 90% trading happens through marine routes, right? And for world also, as much as 70 to 80% of goods are transported through marine channels, right? So therefore marine routes are very important, and therefore these ports are important. This port infrastructure is very important, and we have got these 13 ports, right? I don't want to show you these names. There is a reason why, because you should know the name, you should know the places where they're located. However, names keep changing, and therefore you should note down the new names for these places. Okay, so we have a port at Kandla. This Kandla port is now known as Deen Dayal Port Trust, right? Then we have a port at Mumbai. We have 2 of them. One is MPT Mumbai Port Trust, and the second one is JNPT Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust. So 2 ports there. Then we have Marmagao Port, which is the port at Goa, and New Mangalore Port. And then we have Cochin Port in Kerala. After that, coming to the east, we have Tuticorin Port at the Tamil Nadu, right? The lowermost part of Tamil Nadu. And then we have Chennai and Ennore located close by. Both are in Tamil Nadu. So we have 3 ports at Tamil Nadu. We have one at Vishakhapatnam, and then Paradeep in Odisha, and then Kolkata, Haldia. And then we have another one which is Port Blair. So the new names are mentioned right here, right? We have these Syama Prasad Mukherjee Port Trust, right? We know where it is. In West Bengal, there is only 1 port. So all you need to do is match the following, right? And then we have these important ports, Chidambaram and Kamarajar, right? This is your homework. You should know which of them is Tuticorin and which of them is Ennore Port. So these names are important because they have changed recently. Getting back to the article says that there has been a very good development by this new act. The new act which has ensured that we have autonomy at the port, right? So forming of a new board at Port Trust helps in decentralization of the whole process, right? Earlier the central government had more members in the board, and therefore there was less coordination with the actual port authorities. And now to address this, we have a board which is in the Port Trust, right? So all the Port Trust will be formed, and they will have new boards with fewer members. The members will also be part of various ministries, for example, Ministry of Shipping, Ministry of Trade, right? And then they will also interact and converse. So for important things related to it is that the distinction between major ports and non-major port is there, right? So this distinction is not on the basis of the amount of trade happens. This distinction is only on the basis of if central government is going to handle the port or not. For example, we have a private port at Gujarat. It's called as Mundra. Now this is under Adani Enterprises, and this port is very important because it does a lot of international trade activity. However, it is a private port, right? Kandla at a time used to do less trading activities as compared to Mundra. Kandla used to do, but Kandla was a major port. So please understand, distinction is not about the quantity of trading done, right? So this is what this article speaks. The article also speaks of some important things related to port development. So one is Port Authority versus Port Trust, and now we have Port Authority. Then decentralization, as I mentioned, that decentralization of activities will be done. For example, expansion. If the port has to be expanded, the new board will talk about how it has to be expanded, how the port area, land area has to be utilized, right? The port will work as landlord port model, right? What it means is that the port will be the landlord, and all the activities, for example, the terminals, right? The terminals could be privatized. So they will get revenues, but the private bodies will be working. So the idea is to expand through public-private partnership here, right? Then tariff. The tariff also has to be decided by the port authority only to guide what could be the tariff to be used in the particular area. The next step the article says is about listing. Now, the ports here have been given autonomy, right? Earlier they were under the strong control of the government, and now they have been given more autonomy. The next process could be listing as public listed companies. So through this corporate governance, the port could be further utilized as important corporate bodies with returns, with profits. And this is where it is criticized. Criticism of this article could be in a way that government should not be privatizing so many important strategic bodies, right? This is the first article. Good article to read. The second article is about reforms and Indian capitalism. The article chiefly talks about crony capitalism. So what is crony? Crony means friendship, friend. So crony capitalism means government trying to being friends with the business heads. So this friendship is very critical, and this is not advisable, right? India has had 30 years since 1991, since the liberalization, and since liberalization we have had important developments. For example, we worked on removing poverty. We worked to ease the sectors, to diversify the sectors, to remove the license raj, right? We worked to increase the growth, the GDP of country. However, all these growths have stagnated, and what has now happened is having more inequalities, only regional development in certain places, huge disparity, and crony capitalism. And this is where the government needs to start focusing to reduce such things, right? So examples like IBC, right? Bankruptcy code, the SEBI, new organizations like SEBI have started to work, but we need more efforts in the particular sector. This is what the article says. Case study of the day is about river Kaveri, and we should know where river Kaveri exists. Now this is river Kaveri. You should note down that it flows from around Mysore and then goes to the sea at the east coast, right? Important districts which form part of this river Kaveri bank are Mysore, Salem, and then we have Thanjavur as well, Tiruchirappalli as well. So the issue here is that not a single drop of water reaches the sea here at Bay of Bengal coast. Why? Because all the water is utilized through the construction of dams and diversion to the areas which need water, right? Water is required for many activities. Drinking is one, industrial is one, and the most important is agriculture, fields, right? So the year there is water stress because of the weather, Kaveri is utilized. However, because of all this, Kaveri has depleted its water resources as much as 40%, right? And there is a lot of distress in the farmers also, right? Distress, and they are also in debt because of the same reason. Not only debt, the farmer suicides is one of the impact of the Kaveri being depleted, right? Although Kaveri is called as the one which brings abundance, Kaveri, the literal meaning translates to one who brings abundance. However, the opposite of it is happening. And therefore, an organization which is working in the field has initiated the Rally for Rivers, this initiative. And what are they doing? Through this initiative, they are trying to rejuvenate the river. How are they doing it? They are doing it in 2-3 particular means. For example, one is tree-based agriculture. The second one is climate smart and regenerative agriculture. What are they doing here? Now, I discussed this in reference to Delhi as well. Delhi draft plan for 2041. If we grow trees along the river banks, right, there will be water absorption. The water table here will rise. This will also lead to lesser runoff. What is a runoff? When there is rainfall, it runs off. But if there are trees placed, the tree will hold the water. They will ensure it percolates down. So tree-based agriculture, right? This is one of it. The other thing is, if we have more trees in place, right, there will be more water table, and tree will help in rejuvenation of water activities in the particular place, right? There are multiple advantages of tree in a particular area with respect to tree, right? And climate smart agriculture, it means having agriculture in a smarter way with coordinating with the climate of the local area, right? So this is what this case study is about. And there has been a massive level restoration in South India, especially between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, right? Now this is a thought-provoking idea, how climate change is impacting agriculture. You can think about it, and how plantation can help reduce the impact of climate change. So this is a beautiful case study on Kaveri, right? The way it has rejuvenated because of efforts of Rally for River initiative. Alright.